back to the show. Your solar guy, Jeff Davis, saying aloha. Very, very important. Aloha. And again, just hashing it out here with Brant, Kelsey, independent research analyst. We had Senator Russel Rudderman call in about the GMO issues that we're facing here worldwide, and of course Hawaii being ground zero for GMO. We have most open air crops, experimentations, and let it be known, these GMOs are experiments, and their experimentations are blowing throughout our island winds and waters and land. They're in your body, they're in our ecosystem, and bacteria will change and evolve to meet these new organisms they've never met yet. And we don't know what the heck's going to happen and what the hell's going to happen. We don't know what they do to humans. Russel Rudderman, again, explaining children's allergies going up from 20 years ago when GMOs first came into the market, et cetera, et cetera.
Sterility, birth defects.
Cornering the market on food, basically. We got a phone call.
At any cost.
Let's change the subject. Put your headsets on, would you please, independent analyst? Because I've got Mr. Paul Stanford on the line. Paul was my guest the other day. Paul's got a very interesting story. He's here in town right now. He has been organizing the medical marijuana doctors to come here for decades. Paul, aloha. Welcome back to Hawaii tomorrow.
Mahalo. Aloha to you, Jeff. Thanks for having me back.
Okay. Now, I had you back because of this thing that I'm very interested in. It's called jury nullification. And this is something that I want you to explain in the shortest time possible. What happened to you and how jury nullification got you out, kept you out of prison. You admitted guilt to your crimes.
Yeah, I admitted I was growing marijuana back in 1991. And I admitted I didn't contest that. We admitted that I grew marijuana. We did not call any witnesses. But we cross-examined the witnesses that the prosecution presented, and it came out that I was facing 10 years in federal prison simply for growing 110 marijuana plants. And so the jury nullified the law. They decided that sentence was too steep and that the federal marijuana law is really wrong. They nullified the law. That's why they call it jury nullification. Right. And so it can help a lot of people when you go in on a trial. You don't have to say, are you for or against marijuana legalization? You don't have to answer that question. You just don't answer it. If they ask you directly, you say, hey, I just don't care. And then when you get on the jury, then you tell exactly how you feel to the other jurors in a marijuana case. And you can save people's lives. Like mine, I would have gone to prison for 10 years. My children at that point were 2.5 and 1 year old.
10 years for the horrendous crime of growing an herb.
Oh, manufacturing.
Manufacturing. You don't grow marijuana, you manufacture. Oh, my God.
That's right. I'm the co-conspirator. The unindicted co-conspirator in the marijuana manufacturing has to be God. I mean, if it's manufacturing, he's the...
How come they don't indict God? So here's the point. It's called jury nullification. It's been used for... Brant, you've done research on this. How far back did you find jury nullification?
Jury nullification actually goes back into like the 1200s.
Yeah, it's English common law.
Magna Carta.
And what it does is it's a right or a power that exists.
It's a power, an ad hoc power of the citizen to nullify a law.
There was a famous case back during the Revolutionary War in 1750 under Peter Zinger. And John Adams, the second president, actually was the person who defended Zinger, and he was acquitted, even though he had printed treasonable tracts.
Well, they just used it. New Hampshire is one of the states where it actually allows a jury instruction from the judge that expresses the ad hoc power of the jury to nullify a law. And they actually did just recently in a drug case. They did exonerate the defendant.
Due to jury nullification. Well, let me put it in simple terms because I'm a simple guy. All right, so if there's one person on the jury that just believes that the law is ridiculous and that punishing somebody to whatever extent...
Well, that can hang a jury, but you're going to, overall, that'll just result in a mistrial.
once they go and they've been given their
You have to have a
instructions,
consensus of the jury. You have to have a unanimous decision.
even a unanimous to nullify?
Exactly.
Is that what you understand as well, Paul Stanford?
Yes.
Okay, so everybody has to
You need a
agree.
unanimous jury to convict, and if they can't convict you, then you're not going to jail.
No, it's a mistrial, though, and then they can elect to prosecute again or not.
Yeah, they can make that decision.
All right, so in your case, you're telling me the entire jury rolled over and said, this, you know what, this
No,
is
they
true.
just elected not to prosecute him again for the same crime.
Oh, I see. So the entire jury didn't agree in your case, Paul, but they
In my case, the jury was out for 3 days, and then the judge offered that if I would let him decide the case, he would find it not guilty of the growing marijuana. And the jury was hung on simple possession. And so I went ahead and just let the judge decide, and he decided not guilty, even though I admitted I'd done everything I was accused of.
Okay, so here's the point, gang. If I'm not mistaken, Brant, you brought this to my attention. When prohibition of alcohol was in the same boat, where the people's will was to take this damn prohibition off because it just causes more problems than what alcohol was causing. I mean, and that causes a lot more problems than what marijuana causes.
In the final throes of prohibition, it was estimated that 60% of the prosecutions brought by the federal government were nullified by juries, and it's actually the jury nullification of prohibition that was responsible for the 21st Amendment and the repeal of the 18th.
And I would just love to see a big article on the front page of the Honolulu Advertiser and on the Honolulu Weekly, who I support. Okay, and let's get the word out there, because, ladies and gentlemen, did you know you'll be thrown into contempt of court if you mention it in the courtroom or even outside the courtroom? You would be unable to pass out paperwork identifying this power to people without being found in contempt of court.
They actually had a case during the Casey Anthony trial where a Vietnam vet, the judge had issued an order from the bench that there could be no dissemination of paper and so forth and so on, but at the same time he established free speech zones, and this fellow came out and he was apprising people of their right to exercise jury nullification. The judge got wind of it, and the judge actually brought him into court and actually...
Judge, jury, and executioner?
Judge, jury, and executioner. He found him in contempt. He sent him to jail for 6 months.
No jury?
No jury, no nothing. No law that he broke. He only broke the order of the judge, the order of the court.
All right, and so, by the way, the views expressed here are the views of my guests and Hawaii's Tomorrow, and have no reflection upon Salem media. And one more time, Paul Stanford, what was your suggestion as far as the Roger Christie case, where the federal government has decided, similar to the throes of prohibition, that regardless of
That's what it is.
that regardless of the will of the people, the corporations who give us enough money to keep this stuff illegal are going to carry the day. We're going to continue to prosecute.
Let me say, Roger Christie is a good and honorable man. He's been held in federal jail here in Honolulu. He was arrested in Hilo, 400 miles away. They haven't allowed his wife to see him in a year. She wants to visit him, but they won't allow his own wife to visit him. They're trying to pressure him to plead guilty. And he makes a religious defense that his right to use marijuana is a God-given right, and he believes that marijuana is the tree of life, and foretold in the Bible and part of the holy anointing oil.
You know what? Stop it. Who cares? I don't really care.
That's his argument.
Bro, there's nothing wrong with pot. It's just a gosh darn herb that grows, and you can make rope out of it and fuel out of it, food out of it. You can smoke it and de-stress yourself. People have been doing it from day one before they even figured out how to ferment it and make alcohol. There's nothing wrong with it, and I wish I wasn't having this discussion right now. I swear to God, I'm wasting my time.
I think that we need to emphasize and broadcast and educate people to the option of jury nullification.
What do you think, Paul? Jury nullification, is that Roger's way out?
Yeah, it really is.
All right.
One juror can throw the trial off.
All right, I'm running out of time. I want to thank you for helping out with it, okay? Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Paul Stanford from the, the hemp.org. You find out
The
everything.
Cannabis Foundation, Medical Clinics, and hemp.org, HEMB.org.
All right, thanks again, Brother Aloha.
Aloha.
All right, Brant, thank you too. Brant Kelsey, Independent Research Analyst.
Nice to be here.
It's good to have folks, because I just, the
Urge all those people in their cars to go home tonight, open up that computer, and find out just exactly who Monsanto is.
Get an education, ladies and gentlemen.
And then get together with your
Don't believe everything you read in the newspaper.
and let's all march down there and make the people at the legislature do our will for a change instead of the wills of the corporations.
All right, that's it. You got to get an education. I'm doing my best being the parrot, repeating all this stuff. I'm your solar guy, Jeff Davis. You want an education on solar, you call me at 554-7200. In the meantime, tomorrow, Russ Wada will be my guest. He won the Hawaii Energy Efficient Guy of the World Award, and he'll be in tomorrow to tell us how he did it. And educate us.
And how much he likes that bag.
He won the first prize, and I'm going to find out from Russ what it was. Your solar guy, Jeff, encouraging you to give yourself a break. And I tell myself this every night when I say, just get off the air. Give yourself aloha. And if you can do that, you'll be amazed how great it feels to give other people aloha. And then they give it to someone. And it's a beautiful thing, and it solves every problem. The most magical word and actually thing in the world is aloha. Please try to take that home with you tonight. Aloha!